Hi everyone, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith. I'm here at GTS Distributions Come and Play Day in Atlanta with Andrew Liberko from Fantasy Flight Games. You brought something with you.
I did indeed.
This is Runebound 3rd edition.
Correct.
Yes, and this has got a lot of components which we've got all over the table, and we're going to give you guys a nice quick overview of a lot of the things that are going on in this game. Can you tell me a little bit about the setting, the context of what we're doing here?
So a good way to give us an overview of this is Terranoth is a dark and dangerous place.
Okay.
In it, evil things are afoot. Evil is arising. You are a group of fledgling heroes.
And we're running the other way, right?
Yeah, pretty much going the other way. You are really just starting your career.
Okay.
Nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
You're better than the average person. However, you are really not going to have much of a chance against whatever is stirring. So you need to go forth and you need to delve into dungeons and defeat creatures and acquire your trophies and treasure and learn new abilities and become more powerful so that you can face the evil and become the hero that the people come to know and love.
Right, because this is scenario based, right? There's different scenarios you can play, yep. And the scenario will dictate a big bad evil that you're trying to defeat. Correct. And the interesting thing I think is that it's not a cooperative game. Like, you will all lose if nobody defeats the bad guy, but only one of you can defeat the bad guy and really arise and raise a reputation, right? Is that correct? Is that correct? And it's interesting too because it's in the same universe as Descent, right? 2nd edition,
correct.
The same universe. But whereas Descent might take place on like one of these hexes, you know, where you go in and you're having an adventure there. This is like a huge landscape. In Descent, between campaigns, you might go to the shop. Well, here you can shop during the game. You can be grabbing equipment, right? You can be vanquishing foes, going on a variety of different quests. And so, can we talk maybe a little bit about some of the actions that you take in the game?
Certainly. So there are 5 actions that you would end up taking.
Okay.
So you can do 3 on any given turn.
Right.
One of them is you can choose to move,
yes.
Which in itself involves a choice.
Right.
Either you can throw caution to the wind and you roll random chances and hope that your symbols match and allow you to get where you want to get to, or you can say, no, I'm going to make sure that I'm getting 1 space away.
Right.
And just make that decision.
Okay.
But once you roll the dice, it is too late.
Okay, you're locked in, yeah.
You can adventure, which takes 2 actions.
Yes.
And an adventure is to go to somewhere that is indicated on the map as unexplored.
Yeah, and we have a few tokens like this on the board, right? That
yep.
you start, and these sort of give you some base places you can go to do some of this adventuring, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
And the different colors will correspond to different themes within the deck. So you have a rough idea of what you might get yourself into, but it's still not for certain.
Okay.
So the other actions that you can do is you can rest, whether you're in a city
yep.
or out in the wild.
Right, to heal up.
Yep.
Yep.
So resting in the city is a much safer endeavor. Resting in the wild, you may or may not heal.
Okay.
So you have to decide,
yeah.
do you spend movement to get somewhere, then heal in a safe environment, and then try and carry on with your quest? But one of the other factors that you have to consider is this is essentially a race. All of the other heroes out there are doing their adventuring, they're doing their exploring, they are gathering their own renown, and they are on a quest to slay the evil as well. And if they get there first, they win, you lose.
Right, it might always seem more logical to run back to town because you know the healing will be more successful, but if you're just that 1 step away from that objective,
yep.
I don't want that other person coming in there first, so maybe I stay out here. And it's interesting you mentioned about the timer, because the game is on a timer, right? We have a timer down the side of the board here, and this token will continue to advance round per round, and then I believe it flips over, and you go down 1 more time, and then it's over, right? So that's the time limit that you're talking about, right, that we're all racing towards?
Yep.
Okay, so we have moving, we have resting, we have some adventuring.
You can train.
Train, right.
So when you train, so every character has got a hand of cards.
And
these cards, right? They're a combination of things. So you can learn them
yes.
as abilities and
right.
improve your character, or you can use them as sort of a currency.
Right.
So you can exert by spending these,
yep.
and you don't get any benefit from it other than just getting to try again.
Yes.
Or some abilities are triggered by an exertion, and you're limited by how many cards you have in your hand,
right.
which is a hand limit that is determined by the character,
yes.
and other skills that you may have acquired along the way. So when you train, you draw a number of cards equal to your hand limit.
Right.
Choose among them and discard down to the maximum hand.
Right, so if you've been using them, then this is a way to kind of replenish your hand, or to get new ones maybe that are better than what you have in your hand. I noticed that, yeah, they have these skills have costs here, and if you can pay for the costs during the game, they actually become permanent face-up skills that you can use over and over again, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So it's a way to customize your character, and we each have our own unique custom heroes to begin with. I have Laurel here, and you have
Lord Hawthorne.
Hawthorne. Yeah, right. And another action that you can also take, I believe, is shopping, right? You can go and you can, not only can I improve myself with skills, but I can go get some awesome equipment, which we have lined up here along the board, and these correspond to the different towns, right? The different cities that you can go into.
Correct. So there are the 4 major cities, and there are other places on the map that are indicated as shrines or temples or towns. But the major cities are where you can shop and you can rest and escape the wilderness.
Okay. Well, maybe if you're up for it, can we just show like a quick sample
Sure.
turn or something? All right. Listen, I'll go first. I'm keen to use this movement you were talking about, and I got a hero here, and I'd like to venture into the city here, and I have a movement stat of 3, so I get to roll 3 of the movement dice, and I'll roll, and then I can spend these based on the different landscape symbols that they have, and these are going to match the different formations we see here. Like this one here, for example, is showing this plain wilderness. So I could easily move to a wilderness location. There's one of them right in front of me. So I kind of like the look of that. And then to go into a town, I believe you can spend any kind of die.
Any movement.
Right. So I will spend one of these, and in I go. And so there's other ones here that show this is a wild, this here, and so that means you could move to anything. There's some for water and swamps and forests and the other different formations that we see here. But I've got where I want to be. I'm happy. You get 3 actions on your turn. I've spent one of them. I think the second one, someone in this setup gave me a bunch of wounds over here. So I'll rest. I'm in town, and that allows me just to remove all of my wounds, right? So
Correct.
Back to full health. I'm feeling better. Now I want to tool up a little bit. I need some gear. So if I look here, these different sections are showing me the equipment that's available at each of the different cities. So here's the one for Tamalier. And I like the look of this hunting spear. It has a cost here of 5. And I've got...
You also will get to draw 1 more.
Oh, right, before I buy. That's
Make a
right.
choice.
So I know going into the town, here's what's available, but there might even be something better. Twin daggers, this looks a little better. It's a little out of my price range, though, unfortunately. It costs 10. So I think I will stick with the hunting spear here. It's going to cost all of my money, so I'll take that away. But then, when you buy equipment, you get the token that matches it, right? And this token is going to go into the ones I already have. I have some that start out, and this is used during combat. And we'll probably get an example of combat here because
We'll try.
It's interesting. So that's my 3 actions. I'm done.
All right, fantastic.
What do you got?
So what I'm going to attempt to do is I need some trophies. I want to get some stuff, too.
Okay.
I feel left out.
I don't blame you.
So I am over here, and since I am adjacent to somewhere that I want to check out, I'm going to take the other option for movement, and I'm going to just simply move a single space.
Right. You can always move 1 space adjacent no matter what, right?
And then once I am here, because this has not been explored already, I will spend my remaining 2 actions to explore and draw the top card from the adventure deck.
Yes.
And I have encountered a moonbeam cat.
Okay.
This is an enemy, which means combat ensues. Another player is who handles the combat.
Oh, lovely. So I get to take care of the moonbeam cat?
Yes.
And it's usually the player, I believe it's usually the player to your right, which allows the player to your left, the person will be going next, to potentially work a little bit on their turn while the other 2 are resolving the combat if you want to keep the game moving along as well.
So, as you notice that I handed a small handful of tokens to Rodney. When you start out, all of the monsters are usually more powerful than you are.
Right.
Until you start to acquire equipment
Yes.
or abilities in order to face them.
Right.
Combat is very harrowing. I will be lucky to escape this alive.
Okay. So yeah, these are 5 tokens. They're double-sided, and they're not the same on both sides, right? And they have symbols here. They have the large symbol showing what it is, and the smaller symbol shows you what you're going to find on the other side of the token, right? So what do we do with these?
So once we decide that we're going to fight, we make sure that there's no other abilities that we have that are going to come into play. We shake these up, just like dice.
And we cast them.
And we cast them.
All right.
Going through these symbols, we'll give a little brief explanation of what they do. So anything for an axe represents a potential to do physical damage. Anything like this symbol here means that it's a total miss.
Right.
For the enemy creatures, the skulls indicate damage, and then the shields indicate the ability to block a damage. And then we've gone through, and you can see that these 2 have their symbols in gold.
Right.
And then I only have 1, so we count these up, and I lose the initiative. So the Moonbeam Cat is going to get to go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I know exactly what I'm going to do.
I suspected you might.
I'm going to spend these 3 skulls to do 3 damage to you.
I have no way to stop that.
No, you do not.
I will bleed.
Okay. And then I guess it's over to you, right?
Yep. So
These
we will
can
move
remove.
these.
Yes.
And my first action is Lord Hawthorne has an ability to where once per combat round, I can exert. So by exerting, I can take one of these cards and just get rid of it
Okay.
and do an action.
Yes.
Or re-roll a terrain die or other things. So I get to recast one of this.
All right, here's to some better success.
No.
Unfortunately, because the other side would have been
More damage.
and more damage. Okay.
I could do it again if I wanted to, but I'm thinking maybe I don't want to yet.
Right.
So I will take these and I will attack for 3 damage.
Okay, I'm going to respond to that because I do have a shield, and I can spend that to block one of the damage, right? So that's going to be 2 damage to the Moonbeam Cat, which we can just drop on here. And the Moonbeam Cat has 6
Has
life,
6 health.
right? So not dead yet. It also has some special abilities that you have to consider as well when you're playing. But there's also other tokens, right? There's other symbols besides what we've just seen here. This was very basic, simple attack and defense, but you've got some other things here too.
So we've got a few other ones. So this symbol indicates that as an action, you can stack another one on top. And what it does is, in effect, it doubles the potency of that.
Okay, so for example, this is, let's say you'd had this here and you stacked a 2 on top.
It'd be 4.
Okay, that's good.
It'd be 4. One of the other ones, this is what a magic damage would look like.
Okay.
And if we were fighting the Moonbeam Cat and I was a different type of character and I was doing magic damage,
Yes.
the Moonbeam Cat has a vulnerability to magic damage.
Okay.
So that's where this becomes relevant to what type of damage you're doing to these creatures. And then one of the other symbols is the surge symbol.
Here. Okay. Yes. And what does the surge allow you to do?
The surge you can use to trigger special abilities for the characters.
Right.
Those can also be doubled. And one other one that did not come up as well is the agility icon. So if the agility icon shows up, if I use that as a combat action, I can take one of my unspent tokens and flip it over to take what's on the other side, and all of the tokens will show in a small icon what is on the reverse, so you know what you're doing.
Right. You could have used that in that last...
Yeah, I could have.
All right. And so we would go back and forth with the combat, recasting again, right, until one or either of us...
Is defeated.
Right. Okay. It's not looking good for you. I won't, on camera, make you go through that defeat. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
The hero also has the ability to retreat at the end. If things are just going bad, now retreat is not a guarantee as well. So if I figured I was going to lose, I'm about to go down.
Right.
I said, you know what? We've gotten through this. We've exhausted all of our chances to hurt each other this round. Before we recast, I can retreat. And to do that, I roll however many dice I have and hope that I have the ability to move out of where I'm at.
Okay. And if you do, then you can get there.
I take one step away. The creature is discarded. Nobody wins any trophy. There's no stories to tell.
Right. Now, along with the combat that you encountered here with this token, there's some other different symbols here, and they represent the different decks. And as you said, there's a mix of some similar things amongst them, but they're weighted towards certain kinds of encounters. For example, this one here, the purple ones tend to be more social, right? And so here's one here where you're going to get a choice between 2 different options the player has to make. You've encountered a smuggler. There's some flavor text you can read out, right? And then you can either help the smuggler take his goods into town and trade them in to get a reward, or you can report the smuggler and get a different kind of reward, right? So it's sort of up to you, and it creates that sort of story flavor element. And then we also have an exploration, these ones here, that are often going to give you a quest. And it shows a portion of the board, right, and tells you, okay, at this hex here, if you travel there, you can attempt the quest, and depending on your success, there's different levels of success, you can get different rewards, right?
Yep.
And then I also believe that the cards, you can collect them. Sometimes they'll let you collect them as trophies, so they go face down like this, and then you can spend these to help buy the skills, right?
Absolutely.
So you flip them over and you get to do things with them.
Certain ones, so when you're looking at it,
Yes.
some can end up being sort of just a generic trophy. It can be any trophy, sort of random.
The cost is here, right? And these gray ones, if it's a gray symbol, means any trophy will satisfy the cost. So just 2 of anything, and you can take this lay of the land skill.
Yep.
Okay.
Or the other one, so honed instincts, I have to have an exploration trophy and
Right.
2 others.
Right, it shows the green specifically along with 2 gray. Okay, and then so that gives you an incentive to run around the map and pick up some of these different things. You do want to encounter that enemy because you want to get trophies and then be able to trade them in for some of these skills that you have, right?
Correct.
Again, representing that leveling up of your hero as they become better able to defeat the evil bad guy at the end. Now, there's also some other story elements here, right? As this track advances, there's some other things that happen. What are those?
So every time that the track advances, you're going to encounter different types of events.
Okay.
So some of them are they're a blank space.
Yeah.
It's just keeping time. Some of them you will get to, and what it does is it refreshes all of the adventure locations on the board.
Right, so some of these have been used up. Now they get flipped back over so you can go back to those locations. All right.
Yep.
And there's also this deck here, right?
That's the story deck.
The story deck. And so how does this work? What's the function
So
here?
when you move and encounter a space that says draw a story deck,
Yeah.
you reveal the top card.
Okay.
And then oftentimes it's going to be something very similar to a quest. And for the Ascendants of Margath, you have to collect lore tokens. Mm-hmm. And the lore tokens, the more that you have, the weaker Margath is.
Right.
So you want to accumulate those to make him easier to defeat.
Okay.
And the story quests are a way to do that. So you will say, and this one says, this is the wisdom of the gods, and it gives a location on the map. And then it will say, place 3 lore tokens on this card, and then you will take the corresponding token,
Yes.
and you will place it on the map wherever it's supposed to go.
Right.
And then you will store this under the board.
Right, because that says number 1. This is number 1. It allows you to link them up.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
So you can have up to 6 of these out here.
Yes.
And they will remain until whatever their store of lore is depleted, and then they go away. But these are out there for anyone.
Right.
So whatever the conditions are, there's a place, any hero in the land can go there and take a stab at trying to accumulate the lore that will help them in their battle against Margath.
And I think it's interesting to note, too, that these stories here, and even a certain portion of the cards in these decks, are based on the scenario. Right? We mix in a certain number, I think there's 10, that are specifically based to this scenario we're doing. The story texts are based to this scenario. So when you play, there is, I guess, some more thematic elements that tie together to the situation that your heroes are specifically facing, right?
Some of the creatures that you're going to face here are going to be young dragons.
Okay.
If you were playing the other scenario, where the undead hordes, you would have undead creatures popping up all over the land. You would have to deal with them.
Right. Well, listen, this is a lot of components and pieces, but I think we've really touched on pretty much everything. I want to thank you, Andrew, for walking us through that. And I'm curious, how many players is this for?
This is for 2 to 4 players.
Okay, and is it out now? When's it going to be releasing, if it's now out already?
It will be out next month.
Next month. That's
November.
November 2015. So definitely, if you're interested in this, take a look for that. Andrew, again, thank you so much for walking us through this. And to the rest of you, until the next episode, thanks for watching.